pitch to Olerud. Line drive, base hit into left field. In comes Lopez. Here comes Cedeno. Here comes Castro from left field. The slide. Safe. The Mets win it. The Mets win it. Cedeno slides home under the tag of Mike Lieberthal. A two-run game-winning single for John Olerud. The Mets score 5 runs off Kurt Schilling in the bottom of the 9th inning, and the Mets win it in a remarkable finish.
The 1999 Mets Highlight Show, Back to the Playoffs, is being brought to you by OfficialStuff.com, the provider of official magazine programs of sporting events. By Chase, the right relationship is everything. And by The Wiz, your ticket to entertainment.
It's the 1999 New York Mets Back to the Playoff Show.
Now Rivera brings the hands together. Runners take a lead at all 3 bases. 1-2 to Franco. Line drive, base hit into right field. Henderson scores. Here comes Alfonso. Here comes O'Neal throwing to the plate. Alfonso slides. He's safe. The Mets win it. Liner delivers. Line drive to short. Caught by a diving Ordonez, and the runners get back. Ordonez leaving his feet and making a dive out to his left.
He is just amazing.
Into the air to deep left field. It's gone. Piazza with a long home run over the bullpen in left field. He keeps the streak alive. He ties Huey Brooks' record. 24 straight games.
Mets need just one more out, and they're on their way to Arizona. Here's the pitch. Swung, lined hard, caught. The game is over. The Mets win it. They're on their way to Arizona. A wicked line drive hit by Dimitri Young, caught by Edgardo Alfonso. The game is over. The Mets have won the wild card in the National League.
Here's your host, Gary Cohen.
The New York Mets were very busy during the 1998 offseason. They signed veteran free agents Ricky Henderson and Robin Ventura and re-signed Mike Piazza, Al Leiter, and Dennis Cook. Mets general manager Steve Phillips pulled the trigger on a 3-way deal that sent Todd Hundley to the Dodgers and brought back Roger Cedeno and Armando Benitez. Orel Hershiser was signed during spring training, and he outperformed expectations. The Mets opened the season by winning 7 of their first 9 games. On April 9th, in a 10-3 win over Montreal, Mike Piazza hit his second home run, but he sprained his knee and missed the next 13 games. Todd Pratt would drive in 11 runs while Piazza sat out. On April 14th against the Marlins, John Franco earned his 400th save.
Nice, strike out the side. It was a nice way to finish the game, and I really appreciate my teammates, the way they responded to me and coming out. Really important to me and to the organization. Hopefully this is the first of many celebrations this year for this team.
Orel Hershiser got his first win, and the Mets were in first place at 7-2. Mike Piazza returned to the lineup on April 25th as the Mets dropped an 8-4 decision to the Cubs, which put them in second place behind Atlanta. On April 28th, Mike Piazza helped the Mets start a 6-game winning streak.
Mike Piazza, 0 for 4 tonight, 0 for 4 last night, could make up for all of it right now. Hoffman set, the pitch to Piazza, hit in the air to deep right field. Back goes Quinn, looking up, and it's out of here! The Mets win the ball game! Mike Piazza with a 2-run opposite field home run off Trevor Hoffman. And the Mets have beaten the Padres in their final turn at bat. The first time since 1996 that the Padres have lost a game when leading after 8 innings. And the Mets form a welcoming committee to mob Piazza at home plate.
Masato Yoshi pitched 6 scoreless innings against the Giants on May 6th to extend his scoreless inning streak to 12. Armando Benitez earned his first National League save. Benny Agbayani was called up from Norfolk on May 12th, and he made the most of his first start.
Fastball driven deep in the air at center field, way back, and that ball is gone. Benny Agbayani tattoos a Mike DeJean fastball for his first Major League home run.
Benny hit 10 home runs in his first 73 at-bats and went on to start 70 games in the outfield. On May 15th against the Phillies, Roger Cedeno stole 4 bases, had 2 hits, and scored 3 runs. Cedeno would steal 66 bases, breaking Mookie Wilson's team record of 58. The Mets swept the Brewers in a doubleheader on May 20th to end a 3-game skid. They scored a total of 21 runs in the 2 games, and Ventura became the first player to hit grand slams in each game of a doubleheader.
The 3-2 pitch, hit in the air to deep right field, looking up is Burnett, and it's out of here! Robin Ventura with his second grand slam of the doubleheader. His 12th career grand slam. A line shot over the right field wall.
And the Mets now have a 9-0 lead.
After the sweep, the Mets stood at 23-18, 2.5 games behind Atlanta. On May 21st, Mike Piazza finished up a stretch of 4 games of playing long ball.
And there's a drive, well hit to right field. Going back, Abreu, it's over his head. Gone, a home run. A line drive home run into the bullpen in right field. Piazza has now homered in 4 consecutive ball games. For Piazza, his 8th home run of the year, and the Mets have a 3-0 lead.
The 7-5 win over the Phillies had pulled the Mets to within a game and a half of the first-place Braves. Bobby Jones hurt his shoulder on May 25th and would be put on the DL 2 days later with bursitis. He stayed on the disabled list until September 10th. Jones picked up his 3rd victory on April 17th, and that would be his last of the season. The Mets come from behind victory over the Phillies on May 23rd was one of the great wins of the season.
The pitch to Olerud. Line drive, base hit into left field. In comes Lopez. Here comes Cedeno. Here comes Castro from left field. The slide. Safe. The Mets win it. The Mets win it. Cedeno slides home under the tag of Mike Lieberthal. A 2-run game-winning single for John Olerud. The Mets score 5 runs off Kurt Schilling in the bottom of the 9th inning. And the Mets win it in a remarkable finish.
After a 5-2 win over Pittsburgh on May 26th, the Mets were 1.5 games behind Atlanta, but the Mets would lose their next 8 games in a row. On June 4th, the Mets opened up a 3-game series in the Bronx against their crosstown rivals, the Yankees.
A 2-2 to Jeter, and a high fly ball hit deep to left center field. Back goes McRae, looking up at the wall. It's out of here. Derek Jeter with a 2-run homer over the left center field wall, more than 400 feet away. Jeter's 10th home run of the year, and now the Yankees take a 3-2 lead.
Well hit drive deep to left field. Going back, Ricky Henderson. It'll be over his head. It's bouncing off the wall. Carrasco is around third. Carrasco is coming home to score. The Yankees lead 4-3.
Henderson leads from first. The 2-2. Ricky goes. Ground ball broken back to second. Grabbed by Knobloch. Makes the throw to first. On target, and the ball game is over. Rivera saves it for the Yankees, and they take the opener of the series. And the Mets have now lost 7 games in a row. High fly ball, deep right field. Gone if it stays fair. Right down the line, and it's out of here. Tino Martinez hits one in the upper deck in right field, just inside the foul pole. For Martinez, his 8th home run of the year. And the Yankees go in front for the first time today, 4-3.
High fly ball hit the left field. The game should be over. Carrasco is under it, makes the catch, and the Yankees have won the ball game.
After their 8th loss and second straight to the Yankees, Steve Phillips made changes.
We have relieved Bob Apodaca, Randy Neiman, and Tom Robson. All 3 have contributed a lot to the organization. We have offered all 3 of them the opportunity to stay on for a position at the minor league level that each of them will consider and let us know.
Pitching coach Bob Apodaca, hitting coach Tom Robson, and bullpen coach Randy Neiman were fired and replaced by Dave Wallace, Mickey Brantley, and Al Jackson. The Mets responded to the changes by beating the Bronx Bombers 7-2. Mike Piazza did the bombing that night.
Now the pitch. Long drive, deep left center field, way back, and that ball is gone. Home run, Mike Piazza, number 10 on the year. Piazza drove that one deep to left center field. It gives the Mets a 6-0 lead.
Al Leiter picked up the win and began a personal 5-game winning streak. The Mets would go 15-3 over their next 18 games. On June 15th, the Mets played long ball against the Reds in an 11-3 victory.
The 2-1 to Piazza. Hit in the air to deep left center field. That's gone. Piazza hits it a mile into the seats way up in left center field. The Mets have hit 3 home runs in the opening inning. Piazza belts his 13th of the year, and the Mets are out to a 4-0 lead.
They tied a club record with 6 home runs. On June 22nd, in an 8-2 win over the Marlins, Mike Piazza tied another club record.
Aaronsburg set. 2-2 pitch. Hit in the air to deep left field. It's gone. Piazza with a long home run over the bullpen in left field. He keeps the streak alive. He ties Hubie Brooks' record. 24 straight games. Mike Piazza saved the streak with a monster home run.
The streak ended a day later when Piazza went 0 for 4. The Mets finished a 3-game series with the Marlins by recording their 4th straight come-from-behind win, 3-2. That set up a 3-game series with the division-leading Braves. The Mets moved to within 2 games of the first-place Braves with a 10-2 win in Atlanta. The Mets dropped the next 2 in Atlanta and fell 4 games behind the Braves. Octavio Dotel lost his first Major League start 7-2, and Greg Maddux pitched a 2-hit gem before giving way to John Rocker in the 1-0 series capper.
The set by Rocker. The 1-2 to Ventura. Swing and a miss. He got him with a slider. Rocker strikes out Ventura, and the ball game is over.
1 day later, Robin Ventura got the Mets back on track in Florida. Ventura hit 2 3-run homers in consecutive innings in a 10-4 whitewash of Florida. The Mets took 3 out of 4 from the Marlins, and Octavio Dotel earned his first Major League win to close out the month of July. The Mets returned home to face the Braves, and Atlanta handed New York their worst shutout in team history, 16-0. John Franco went on the disabled list the next day with a sprained tendon in the middle finger of his pitching hand. The Mets lost their 4th straight to Atlanta in the 2nd game of the series before salvaging the final game with a 7-6 win to pull within 4 of the Braves. Armando Benitez got the save by striking out the side in the 9th. They followed the Braves series by splitting a 4-game set with Montreal. Then it was back to Flushing for a 3-game series with the Yankees. Al Leiter outpitched Roger Clemens for the 2nd time in as many meetings, and Mike Piazza went deep in the opener.
The 2-1 pitch hit in the air to deep left field. Back goes Curtis, looking up at the wall. It's out of here! Mike Piazza with a line drive 3-run homer into the bleachers in left field. 5-2 Mets. Piazza with his 18th home run of the year, his 2nd against Clemens, a bullet that went all the way into the bleachers in left field, and the Mets now lead it 5-2.
I just felt like I had to do something a little different. I stayed back, and he threw a ball. Breaking ball was down, and I really didn't try to do too much with it. I stayed back and just put a really nice swing on it. Drove it really well.
Now we're ready. And the pitch. He struck him out. The game is over and the Mets win. Benitez strikes out Chili Davis to get the save, and the Mets win the ball game.
The Yankees hit 6 home runs in the 2nd game of the series, but Matt Franco had the biggest hit in the bottom of the 9th.
Now Rivera brings the hands together. Runners take a lead at all 3 bases. 1-2 to Franco. Line drive, base hit into right field. Henderson scores. Here comes Alfonso. Here comes O'Neill's throw to the plate. Alfonso slides. He's safe. The Mets win it. The Mets win it. Matt Franco with a line drive single to right, and he's being mobbed by his teammates. Matt Franco, a 2-run single of Mariano Rivera in the bottom of the 9th inning, and the Mets win it 9-8.
The Yankees won the series finale 6-3, and the Subway Series ended in a dead heat at 3-3. The Mets dropped to 5 behind Atlanta heading into the All-Star break. Mike Piazza was the Mets' lone representative at the All-Star game in Boston. The Mets beat the Devil Rays 8-7 to open up the second half of the season. The Amazons would go 17-4 in the next 21 games following the All-Star break. July 21st was an important day in Ricky Henderson's career.
Fastball line drive into the gap in right center field. That's a base hit. It's going to go all the way to the wall as Alfonso rounds first, heads to second. Henderson rounding third and heading home. The throw is dropped on the relay. Alfonso will now make it on to third. Henderson scores and the Mets lead 6-3. Well, the relay throw from Guerrero into his brother Wilton Guerrero bounced off his glove and away from him, so they had no shot to make a relay throw home to get Henderson. And with that run, Ricky Henderson now surpasses Willie Mays. He just got the ball from catcher Michael Barrett. He'll take that back to the dugout. So a very historic run for Ricky Henderson, passing Willie Mays and becoming 5th all-time by himself on the all-time runs list.
The following day, Oral Hershiser earned his 200th career win.
I've been trying to just treat it as a normal thing, but when Cookie was real close there to getting that last out, it got pretty special. And, you know, you just start reflecting back how far you've come as far as to win 200 games and through an arm surgery, and actually even through the fact that you make it to the big leagues and then can get to stay, and then you get to enjoy great teams that play well behind you like the Mets did tonight.
We'll be back with more of the 1999 New York Mets Back to the Playoff Show after these messages. Here on The Fan, Sports Radio 66, WFAN New York.
You've
You've been waiting. 99 New York Mets back to the playoff show.
Pitch coming from Franco. Swing on a ground ball past the mound. Backhand play by Alfonso. Flips to Ordonez. Throws to first, and he got him. Amazing play. Ordonez took the flip from Alfonso, who made the backhand stop behind the bag, and relayed it on to first, and they get Guillen for the second out of the ninth inning.
Here's Gary Cohen.
On July 23rd, the Mets acquired Kenny Rogers from Oakland for 2 minor leaguers. Rogers would go on to win 5 decisions for the Mets, but more importantly, the Mets were 10-2 with Rogers on the mound. On July 24th, Octavio Dotel ran his record to 3-1 with a career-high 9 strikeouts in a 2-1 win over the Cubs. The next day, Melvin Mora drove in his first career run and made his first major league start in center field for the Mets in their 5-1 win over the Cubs. It turned out to be Mora's only RBI of the regular season. July 31st was the trading deadline, and general manager Steve Phillips was busy. The Mets acquired Chuck McElroy and Darrell Hamilton from Colorado for Rigo Beltran, Brian McRae, and a minor leaguer. Sean Dunston came from St. Louis for Craig Paquette. They also sent Greg McMichael and Jason Isringhausen to Oakland for Billy Taylor. The Mets finished the month of July and began August by taking 2 of 3 from Chicago. On July 30th, the Mets overcame a 7-2 deficit at Wrigley to beat the Cubs 10-9 and take over first place.
The 2-1 pitch. Ground ball off Benitez's leg. He can't find it. Picks it up, throws to first in time, and the ball game is over. An incredible finish to a remarkable day at Wrigley Field. A smash hit back toward the box off the leg of Benitez. He could not find it for one long, agonizing moment. Finally located the ball behind him and threw to first just ahead of Tyler Houston to end the ball game.
Pat Mahomes got the win and ran his record to 4-0. Mahomes would finish the regular season with a perfect 8-0 record. The Mets fell from first the next day after being drubbed by the Cubs 17-10. The Mets won their first 5 games to start the month of August and found themselves in first place from August 3rd through the 8th. The Mets dropped 3 of 4 to the Dodgers and watched the Braves move back into first. Rick Reed left the second game of the LA series with a strained middle finger on his pitching hand and was put on the 15-day disabled list. The Mets also lost the game 14-3. Reed's 7-game winning streak came to an end. The Mets rebounded with a 3-game sweep of San Diego that put them back into a first-place tie with the Braves. The Mets opened a 6-game West Coast swing by dropping a 3-2 decision to the Giants. New York would win their next 3 and finish the road trip with a 4-2 record and a 1-game lead over the Braves. On August 22nd, the Mets split a doubleheader with St. Louis. In the opener, New York rallied from a 6-1 deficit.
The 1-2 to Olerud, hit in the air to deep right field. Back goes McGee, looking up at the wall, and it's out of here! Grand slam home run for John Olerud. It's a 1-run ball game. The 1-0 to Piazza, and a high fly ball, deep center field. Back goes Drew, back onto the track, looking up, and it's out of here! Piazza ties the game! Piazza homers over the center field fence! Olerud and Piazza go back-to-back! Piazza with his 7th home run in the last 8 games, his 30th of the year. And the Mets have tied the game at 6-6. Metallico's payoff. Swinging a ground ball toward the hole, base hit in the left field, and the Mets win it! The Mets win it on an RBI single by Edgardo Alfonso. Franco comes across the plate to score. The Mets score 2 runs in the bottom of the 9th inning, and they yank it out.
The Mets dropped the nightcap and fell a half game back of the Braves. Atlanta would never relinquish their first-place status again. After winning their first 14 of 19 games in August, the Mets went 5-5 to close out the month, 3.5 games in back of Atlanta. On August 30th, Edgardo Alfonso had a career day against Houston.
And this is swung on and hit high in the air to deep left center field, way back. It may go. Gone. It's gone. A home run for Edgardo Alfonso, his 3rd home run of the game. And the Mets have a lead of 11-0. So Strawberry and Carter were the last to do it. Edgardo Alfonso has just done it, hitting a home run off Sean Bergman to deep left center field.
Now Miller's 1-0 to Alfonso. Line drive down the right field line, headed toward the corner. That's an extra base hit, bouncing over the wall. A ground rule double for Edgardo Alfonso, his 6th base hit of the game. Edgardo Alfonso with a run-scoring RBI double to make it 15-1, and Alfonso becomes the first player in the 38-year history of the New York Mets to get 6 base hits in a game.
It's Thing is, one of those days, you know, you feel everything's work out pretty good. Thank God they give me opportunity to be here again. So tonight, everything's going right. You know, I mean, I was on the ball, and it's a good pitch to hit, and that was it.
Fonzie tied or set 4 club records by going 6 for 6 with 3 homers, 6 RBIs, and 6 runs scored in the Mets' 17-1 rout of Houston. The Mets took 2 out of 3 from the Astros before winning 2 out of 3 in Colorado. Darrell Hamilton had something special in store for his former team.
Bases loaded, 1 man away, 2 runs are in. Swung, a high drive, hit deep to right field, way back. It may go. There it goes. Grand slam home run. 6-0 New York. A grand slam home run for Darrell Hamilton. And it's a 6-run lead now for the New York Mets.
On September 6th, Kenny Rogers tossed a complete game 4-hit shutout over the Giants. It was the first complete game shutout thrown by a Met since June of 1998. 2 days later, Octavio Dotel won his 7th straight decision with a 7-inning, 9-strikeout performance against the Giants. Edgardo Alfonzo reached a personal milestone in a 10-3 win over L.A. Cedeno at second and nobody out. The 2-1 to Alfonzo. Changeup hit in the air to deep left field. Back goes Sheffield, looking up at the wall, and it's out of here! Edgardo Alfonzo with a 2-run homer. And 2 batters into the game, the Mets have a 2-0 lead. Home run number 25 for Alfonzo, and he now has 100 runs batted in. Rogers raised his record to 5-0. The Mets trailed the Braves by 2 games when they opened a 3-game series at Turner Field on September 21st. A pitch and a high fly ball, deep right center field. Back goes Cedeno, going back. Warning track, back at the wall. It's out of here. Chipper Jones supplies the keynote address. His 42nd home run of the year, his 4th against the Mets, and the Braves jump out to a 1-0 lead. Now the 1-1 from Cook, and a drive in the air to deep left center field. Back goes Hamilton, looking up at the wall, and it's out of here! Chipper Jones with his 2nd home run of the game. He's hit him from both sides of the plate. 43 home runs for Chipper Jones. He's been a one-man offensive show for the Braves all year and again tonight. And the Braves take a 2-1 lead in the bottom of the 8th inning. The 0-2 to Benny. On the outside corner, strike 3 called. Rucker strikes out the side of the 9th. And the Atlanta Braves have taken the opener of the 3-game series on tremendous pitching and the home run bat of Chipper Jones. This series would begin a 7-game losing streak that left the Mets barely in contention for a wild card spot. On October 1st, the Mets found themselves 2 games behind both Houston and Cincinnati with 3 games to play when they opened their final series at home against the Pirates. 1-0, line drive, base hit, the Mets win the ball game. Ventura singles to right center. Dunston comes home to score, and the Mets live for another day. Ventura got the base hit off the left-hander, and the Mets win the game 3-2 in the 11th inning. Kenny Rogers struck out 10, while Piazza and Ventura went deep to take the first game 3-2. Rick Reed sparkled in the second game of the series.
Now the 2-2 delivery. Strike 3! Strike 3 called. The game is over. The Mets have won it. 12 strikeouts for Rick Reed.
The Mets completed a 3-game sweep of the Pirates on the final pitch of the game. Watts is ready to go. Pitching off the stretch. Deals to Piazza. Low and outside. It gets away onto the screen. Mora scores. The Mets win it. The Mets win it. Mora is mobbed by his teammates as he crosses home plate. Brad Blount bounced the first pitch up onto the screen. Melvin Mora scores the winning run. The Mets win in game number 162, and the Mets will play again in 1999. The Astros won the Central Division, but the Reds lost their first 2 in Milwaukee. Then on the final Sunday, after a 6-hour rain delay, the Reds beat the Brewers, and that set up a 1-game playoff between the Mets and the Reds in Cincinnati to decide the National League wild card on October 4th.
Swing and a high fly ball hit pretty deep to center field. Back goes Hammonds to the warning track. Looking up, gone. It's a 2-run over. A 2-run homer over the center field fence for Edgardo Alfonzo. His 27th home run of the year, and the Mets do have 2 early runs on the board.
Edgardo Alfonzo drove in 3 runs with a home run and a double in Cincinnati, and Al Leiter did the rest.
Mets need just 1 more out, and they're on their way to Arizona. Here's the pitch. Swung, lined hard, caught. The game is over. The Mets win it. They're on their way to Arizona. A wicked line drive hit by Dimitri Young, caught by Edgardo Alfonzo. The game is over. The Mets have won the wild card in the National League. The Mets now will fly to Phoenix, Arizona. And tomorrow night, they'll be at Bank One Ballpark, opening the series against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Masato Yoshi will be on the mound.
We'll be back with more of the 1999 New York Mets Back to the Playoff Show after these messages. Here on The Fan, Sports Radio 66, WFAN New York. Back to the Playoff Show.
Lieber delivers home, and a drive in the air to deep right field. Looking up is Sosa. That ball is out of here. Robin Ventura with his second home run of the game. A 6 RBI day for Ventura. A 2-run shot to get the Mets back to within 1 run. It is 9-8 Chicago.
Here's your host, Gary Cohen.
It was on to Arizona for a best-of-5 division series against the Diamondbacks. Once again, Edgardo Alfonso provided the big hit in Game 1.
The 0-2 to Alfonso, and a high fly ball hit deep to left center field. Back goes Finley, back onto the track, back near the wall. It's out of here. The ball hit the fan and came back on the field. Alfonso has a home run in the first inning for the second straight day, and the Mets take a 1-0 lead against Randy Johnson. Bernard set. The 3-1 pitch, and a drive in the air to deep left field, down the line. Gone if it stays fair. That ball is out of here! Out of here! Grand slam home run! Alfonso, a grand slam in the top of the ninth, and the Mets have taken an 8-4 lead. Alfonso hit it out of sight, down the left field line, just inside the foul pole. His second home run of the game. Alfonso with a grand slam with 2 out of the top of the ninth, and the Mets have taken an 8-4 lead.
Mets went on to win Game 1 8-4 with Randy Johnson giving up 7 of the 8 runs. The Diamondbacks took Game 2 on a strong pitching performance by Todd Stottlemyre 7-1, and the series headed back to Shea for Game 3. The Mets broke open Game 3 with a 6-run 6th inning, and again it was John Olerud who had the big hit.
Swung on, ground ball hit toward the hole. It's through for a base hit to right. Bonilla has scored. Rounding third and racing to the plate, scoring, standing up, Ricky Henderson. A big hit by John Olerud. A ground single through the hole in right field.
The 9-2 victory left the Mets 1 win away from clinching the division series. In Game 4, the Mets held a 2-1 lead going to the 8th inning, but Jay Bell's 2-run double off Armando Benitez gave the Diamondbacks some hope. The Mets tied the game in the bottom of the 8th, and the game went to extra innings before Todd Pratt picked up the biggest hit of the year for the Mets.
Antis 1-0, and a high fly ball deep to center field. Back goes Finley, going back. Warning track at the wall, jumping, and it's out of here! It's out of here! Pratt hit it over the fence. Finley jumped and he missed it. The Mets win the ball game. The Mets win the ball game on a home run over the center field fence by Todd Pratt. The Mets have won the series 3-1.
I got that one up, and I got enough of it. You know, Steve Finley usually grabs that ball, but thank God today.
The dramatic 4-3 victory sent the Mets into the National League Championship Series for the first time since 1988. Their opponents would be the Atlanta Braves. In Game 1 at Turner Field, Greg Maddux pitched like a 4-time Cy Young Award winner, but it was little-known Eddie Perez who had the big hit for the Braves.
Pitching 2-1, and a high fly ball hit deep to left field. Ricky going back, Ricky at the wall, Ricky looking, gone, a home run.
After the Braves' 4-1 first-game victory, the Mets turned to Kenny Rogers to try to get them even. And Rogers was brilliant for the first 5 innings in Game number 2. But the 6th inning proved to be Rogers' undoing.
The 1-0 pitch, smacked in the air deep down the right field line, slicing toward the corner. That ball is out of here! Off the foul screen, a 2-run homer for Brian Jordan. And the Braves have tied the game at 2-2.
Dave Wallace staying in the dugout as Perez stands in, and Rogers will work to him. The infield at double play depth. The pitch on the way, and a high fly ball deep left field. Back goes Mora onto the track. Mora looking up. That ball is out of here. Eddie Perez with his second home run of the series. A 2-run shot off Kenny Rogers, the second 2-run homer of the inning. And the Braves have, just like that, jumped in front 4-2. John Smoltz came out of the bullpen for his first career relief appearance, pitched a 1-2-3 ninth, and the Braves had a 2-0 lead as the series returned to Shea for Game 3. Game 3 proved to be a terrific pitcher's duel between 2 left-handers, Al Leiter and Tom Glavine. but the Braves got the only run of the game, an unearned run in the first inning. Williams at second, Boone at first, and one out. There goes Williams, the pitch on the way, inside, throw to second by Piazza, goes into center field. Williams racing for the plate. Mora makes the throw to third base. Williams scores. Safe at third is Brett Boone, and the Braves have a 1-0 lead.
He threw ace after ace and for cold strikes, and a couple of our guys had pretty good at bats off of him, but they're just weren't that real solid at bat. Obviously, we put 2 hits together, back-to-back, I think once, and that was with 2 outs and Mora and Ordonez.
The Braves' 1-0 win gave them a 3-0 lead in the best-of-7 series, a deficit no team has ever overcome. But the best of this series was still yet to come. In Game 4, the Mets were 4 outs away from getting swept in the series, but John Olerud came through in the 8th inning against John Rocker.
And the pitch. Bouncing ball hit toward the middle of the diamond. Off the glove of the shortstop. Tying red is scoring. Coming home is Mora. 2 Reds are in. The Mets are in front. The Mets are out in the front. Melvin Mora scores the run that puts New York ahead. A ground ball by John Olerud. That should be scored a base hit.
The Mets' 3-2 win set the stage for perhaps the 2 most scintillating back-to-back postseason games in history. Game 5 began the way Game 4 ended, with a big hit by John Olerud.
2-1 to Olerud. Drive in the air to deep right center field. Back goes Jordan. Back to the track. Looking up at the wall. It's out of here! John Olerud with a 2-run homer off Greg Maddux. And the Mets jump out to a 2-0 first-inning lead.
Masato Yoshi held the fort for the first 3 innings, but in the 4th, the Braves came storming back.
Ground ball, base hit over the third base bag, rolling down the line in foul territory. Around third is Boone. Boone will come in to score. It's an RBI double for Chipper Jones. Jones batting left-handed, hit late, hit the ball hard, hit it right over the third base bag and on down the line to drive in a run. Back-to-back doubles, and now it's a 2-1 ball game. 1-2 count on Brian Jordan. And a drive hit hard to left field. That'll be a base hit. Rounding third is Chipper Jones. He'll try to score. Ball bobbled in left field by Ricky Henderson. He has no play. Throws it in to second base. And now the Braves have tied the game.
With Yoshi out of the game, Bobby Valentine went to his bullpen early and often. Oral Hershiser, with 3 1/3 scoreless innings, led a parade of 8 Mets relievers as the Mets became the first team ever to use 9 pitchers in a postseason game. The game remained 2-2 all the way into extra innings. Each team squandered opportunities to get the lead run on the board, but the Braves finally broke through against Octavio Dotel in the top of the 15th inning.
Pitch to Lockhart. Line drive toward right center field. Cutting across is Mora with Dunston. They won't get it. Base hit. Bouncing by Dunston and rolling back to the wall. Weiss has scored. Lockhart around second. He'll go to third. Keith Lockhart with a run-scoring triple in the 15th inning. And the Braves have gone in front 3-2.
With rookie Kevin McGlinchey on the mound for the Braves, the Mets tried to fight back with the game more than 5 hours old and the rain soaking the fans at Shea. Sean Dunston with a 12-pitch at bat singled up the middle to get the winning rally started. The Mets loaded the bases against McGlinchey, and Todd Pratt came to the plate.
Here's the 3-1 pitch. Outside ball 4. The game is tied. Dunston trucks down the line from third to score. A bases-loaded walk to Todd Pratt, and the Mets have tied the game at 3-3. And now the winning run is on third base with only 1 out. And Robin Ventura will try and win it for New York.
With the game tied, the bases loaded, and still only 1 out, Robin Ventura picked up a memorable hit for the Mets.
Ventura is waiting. McGlinchey staring in, has his sign. A 2-1 pitch. And a drive in the air to deep right field. That ball headed toward the wall. That ball is out of here! Out of here! A game-winning grand slam home run off the bat of Robin Ventura. Ventura with a grand slam. They're mobbing him before he can get to second base. The Mets have won the ball game.
Ventura's grand slam single gave the Mets Game 5 4-3 in a 5-hour and 46-minute classic. The series then moved to Atlanta for game number 6. At first, the 6th game looked like it would be anything but a classic. Al Leiter didn't get anybody out in the first inning.
The pitch to Chipper Jones. Inside, the double steal is on, and the ball breaks off the glove of Robin Ventura. Williams is racing home. He will score. Now the pitch on the way. Ground ball hit hard. Base hit going through the hole. Grounding third is Brent Boone. Boone is coming in to score. 2-0 Atlanta. The pitch. Line drive base hit going into right center field. Zimmer will score. Jordan will score. 4-0 Atlanta. Now the pitch by Pat Mahomes. Swung on, hit high in the air to pretty deep left center. Racing over Darrell Hamilton. He'll get under it. He makes the catch. Tagged up is Andrew Jones. He'll come in to score. 5-0 in favor of Atlanta.
Down 5-0 and facing Kevin Millwood, it appeared the Mets season would come to a rather routine finish. But this one was anything but an anticlimax. Shut out for 5 innings, the Mets bats came to life in the 6th. The pitch by Kevin Millwood. Ground ball toward the middle of the diamond. Boone can't get it. Base hit center field. In to score is Olerud. Here comes Ventura. Ventura scores. It's a 2-run single for Darrell Hamilton. 5-3 Atlanta, and the tying run will come to the plate here in the 6th inning. But the Braves came right back in the bottom of the 6th and opened up their lead again. The 1-0 pitch. Line drive base hit going into left field. Jones will score. Here comes Hunter around third. Here comes Henderson's throw to the plate, not nearly in time. It's a 2-run single for Jose Hernandez. And now the Braves have opened up a 7-3 lead. In the 7th, John Smoltz took the mound for Atlanta, and the Mets gave him a pounding, led by Mike Piazza. Smoltz with a 2-1 pitch, and a drive in the air to deep right center field. Back goes Jordan, back to the track, looking up, and it's out of here! It's out of here! Mike Piazza ties the game! Piazza ties the game with a 2-run opposite field home run! And the Mets have come from 5 runs down. They tied the game against John Smoltz in the 7th inning. Piazza's first extra base hit in the postseason, and it's a 2-run, game-tying home run. In the 8th, unlikely hero Melvin Mora put the Mets in front.
The left-hander Rimlinger deals, and a drive toward the gap in left center, base hit. Vinny Agbayani rounding third. Here comes Agbayani. The Mets are in the lead. The Mets are in the lead.
But the Braves tied it against John Franco in the bottom of the 8th.
Tying run, Nixon is on third. The infield is in. And it's a looping drive into center field. It's going to be a base hit. It will tie up the game. Here's a throw now going into second base. The Braves have rallied and tied the game. It is now 8-8 in the 8th inning.
On we went to extra innings again. The Mets struck first in the 10th.
4 runs, 3-2 pitch, drive in the air to center field. Jones has room in medium center, makes the catch. Agbayani's going to try it. Here comes Andrew Jones's throw. He comes in sliding, and he is safe. Safe. Agbayani scores. The Mets have the lead. The Mets have the lead.
But the Braves answered right back against Armando Benitez.
The 0-1 to Guillen. Line shot toward right, base hit, going through into right field. Jones around third, racing home. Morris throw goes to third. The slide. He is out at third base. But the Braves have tied the game.
After using 9 pitchers in game number 5, Bobby Valentine used 8 hurlers in the 6th game. Kenny Rogers took the mound in the bottom of the 11th. Gerald Williams led off with a double. The Braves loaded the bases, and Andrew Jones came to the plate.
The count is 3-2. Now the pitch. He walked him. The season is over for the New York Mets. Kenny Rogers walked Andrew Jones, forcing in the winning run from third base. Gerald Williams comes in to score, and it's celebration time for the Atlanta Braves. What a horrible loss for the New York Mets.
I told my guys after the game that it might be a shorter winter or a longer winter for them, but what the heck, I think they played like champions. They should feel like champions.
It was a stunning finish for the Mets, who had been left for dead so many times over the final month of the season. But it capped off 26 innings of baseball over 2 games, which will be remembered forever. And for the Mets, it brought to a close a breakthrough season. 97 wins, plus 5 more in their first postseason appearance in 11 years. A year that featured a host of stars, with MVP-caliber performances by Edgardo Alfonso, Robin Ventura, and Mike Piazza, the emergence of Roger Cedeno and Armando Benitez, and the record-setting defense led by the spectacular Ray Ordonez. For the New York Mets, 1999 was certainly a season to remember, and perhaps a springboard to even greater achievements in the new millennium.
The 1999 Mets Highlight Show, Back to the Playoffs, was brought to you by OfficialStuff.com, the provider of official magazine programs of sporting events. By Chase, the right relationship is everything. And by The Wiz, your ticket to entertainment.